So please welcome Anjie Hipple to the show. Welcome, Anjie.
Thank you, Ashley. It's so good to be here.
Oh, it's so amazing
Lovely
to
to meet
see you.
you. You
I'm
too.
looking at an angel and from North Carolina. And I found you, I want to say over a year ago, and uh, listening to you channel Judah, listening to your story, and now going deeper into your rabbit hole, which I love to do before I bring my
Mm,
guests on. I get there is something more to your story that I thought we would start with.
sure.
And when 2020 came, and I started this podcast in 2020, and
Mhm.
my life, my girls were in eighth grade and fifth grade at the time, and they say that was the best time of their life when we were home.
Yeah,
So
don't have to go to school.
their perspective was, this is amazing, and we get to play games and have dinner together and all the things. And I know sometimes, and with you and your story, when I look at it from like the higher perspective and looking down at how life, how your soul planned out your purpose and why you're here, is
Mm.
you had to have COVID had to come into your life, and it had to make you so sick for two
I,
years.
it did. I mean, I guess some people, just sneeze a couple of times and maybe were sick for a few days and that was the end of it. But with me, it laid me out for 2 years. My heart actually developed a sac of water around my heart, and I had inflammation in my pericardial sac, which is the part, the outer layer of the heart that protects the heart. And so I was a really sick girl for a couple of years. I had a hard time getting up and down the stairs. I had a hard time doing anything, really. I couldn't cook. Most days I couldn't cook or do a load of laundry. I spent most of my time just laying around, sitting around for 2 years. I wasn't sure if I would recover. Yeah. And, there's a whole backstory underneath that, right? Of, why me? Why did a seemingly healthy person get laid out with this thing that other people kind of skate through? And yeah, all of these diseases have emotional, spiritual roots, and there were just some things I was ignoring in my life, that needed my attention. And boy, it had my attention after that.
But what is the spiritual meaning of that to you? Because I see it in a way, and that's why I wanted to bring that up, because I feel like, when something comes, like hits us over the head and stops our life.
Mhm.
I mean, COVID stopped all of our lives, but
Yeah.
you for 2 years were so affected by it, and now understanding it from your perspective 5 years later. What is
Yeah.
that story? How do you see that from your viewpoint now?
Yeah, well, the body always knows and understands the truth, I think. The mind, sometimes the ego-based mind will lie to us about things or concoct all kinds of stories and things, but the body knows the truth. And my body knew that I was repressing a lot of stuff, karmic stuff, from past life stuff, from this lifetime, a lot of trauma, things that I, just hadn't had the opportunity and the support to face, to sort through, sift through, trash, get rid of. And the COVID, in those 2 years of rest really just offered the opportunity for me to really peel back all the layers of the ego, um, spend a lot of time meditating, self contemplation after I finished watching everything, on Netflix that could be watched and that kind of thing, And it was a beautiful time. It was a great gift. It was a gift. Fortunately, I had a very high vibe, highly conscious partner that encouraged me to embrace the gift of what was going on and use it to go inside and to get to know myself. And yeah, at the end of that 2 years, I had Judah, who is a beautiful collective of angels, from which, they're my oversoul family, my higher self. And my soul emanates from them or is a part, an aspect of them. They just kind of came out of nowhere and seemingly and just crashed my party altogether. It was very a happening, a happy, happy, happy surprise. Totally unexpected. I never thought I would channel. I appreciated channeling. It had become part of my journey as I was transitioning out of religion and trying to sort through my ideas about life and God and the world, relationships. Channeling had begun to speak to me. My new partner at the time had always been a consumer of spiritual materials and the metaphysical world and channeling. And I thought it was just really bizarre, you know. But as I would listen with him, um, the messages of some of these channelers, Bashar, Cryon, Wendy Kennedy, they were really transformative for me and very practical and helpful. And so that had been a part of my awakening, but I didn't have it on my bucket list, you know, that I would become a channeler, but it just happened. It was
Right.
this extraordinary happening.
But so I look at Chuck, your partner,
Hmm.
as this soul that came into your life. Like he had to be there that day when you were watching something on TV and he said, you can do that when you were watching
Yeah.
someone channel, right? But
Yeah.
like he plays such a big part of his like open, like his, you know, open vessel of understanding for you to understand it even more, right? Don't you see that?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it was just a passing comment. We were watching a channel, or you could do that. And that passing comment hit just right at the right time. There was no more resistance left in me towards anything, you know, because I'd had 2 years of really not being able to function in my ego roles in life. I mean, um, I'd been a Christian wife, mother, a Christian worship leader, Christian women's conference speaker. I'd been really high profile in that whole scene. I was in kind of like a mega church environment, similar to Hillsong. Loved all that. That was my identity. You know, my kids at the time that though that I was with my new partner in this new spiritual partnership and in full on awakening several years into it, all those roles had shifted. I wasn't any of those things anymore. I wasn't the Christian wife and conference speaker, worship leader. I couldn't even sing anymore because I didn't have the physical energy to do it. Other roles, like, you know, I'd been a school teacher for many years, elementary school teacher. I couldn't do those things. I couldn't teach music. All my roles, even, you know, being a wife, I couldn't do the normal things of like cooking dinner and, you know, that kind of stuff. So my roles had been completely stripped away. So at the point in which Chuck said to me, you could do that, there was nothing left in me that would really resist anything anymore.
Hmm.
I was really ready to surrender, you know, ready to receive whatever the universe had for me next. And I was ready to admit the truth, which is, I don't know. You know, I'm almost 50 now and I don't really know about life. I thought I had it all figured out. I don't. And I'm willing and open to learn now. And yeah.
What was the experience when you first, I mean, no understanding it from like someone that doesn't really, that just probably started listening to people that were channelers. What
Mhm.
is the first experience like? Did Judah come in and say, this is, we are Judah? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, well, it was so wild. You know, sometimes I even hesitate to share it because it's so bizarre. You know, it was just so wild. So at in that moment, you know, when Chuck said that to me, I later we went to bed as we normally do. You know, no big epiphanies or anything when he said it. And what was going on in the circumstance in that time was my third child, grandchild, was getting ready to be born, my beautiful daughter. And I knew that I couldn't be there for the birth. They were several hours away because I wasn't physically able to get there. And so I was brokenhearted about that. It was just another, you know, disappointment in a long list of things I was having to give up and surrender. So I'd been working on letting that go to the universe. Okay, I'm not going to be able to be there. I just released that. And so I went to bed that night and I literally woke up in the middle of the night and felt a presence, a baby, it seemed to me, in my womb. I could feel those Braxton Hicks contractions that you have right before you're ready to give labor. I
Hmm.
could sense this little baby speaking to me about why they were coming to the earth, and I could feel the innocence and the purity of his presence. I knew he was a little boy, which we didn't have any physical knowledge of that at the time. And and I just was having this really profound physical, visceral experience. And you could even feel his head pushing down on my pelvic
Wow.
floor. And of course, in the natural, he was hours away in my daughter's womb, not in mine. And there's actually some scientific proof of these kind of metaphysical experiences. There, and this is a little bunny trail, but there is a military science experiment in which a soldier, they swabbed his mouth for saliva, and they put it in a petri dish, and they took it 50 miles away from where this soldier was on the base, and they played movies for the soldier, sad movies, frightening movies. And as they were playing these movies for him, they tested his electrical physiological response to the stimulus. And they were also testing his saliva 50
Hmm.
miles away at the same simultaneously. And the changes that he experienced in his body as he was watching the violent scenes and then the loving scenes and the sad scenes, those changes that happened in his body also happened in his saliva 50 miles away
Wow.
in
Huh.
in the study there. So we have really no we're just learning. I'm just learning, the wonders of the unseen realm and what we can really do. But going back to the story, when I woke up the next morning, Chuck was gone to work, and so I sat down at the computer to type up the experience. And as I did that, Judah began to just speak telepathically to me in my thoughts and told me their name, and that they were an angelic collective of over 350,000 angels and of the Christ consciousness. And they repeated back to me all the things they wanted to say about my grandson. And, side note here, births and deaths can really be open windows of time in which we can receive these really profound gifts from angels and other beings on the other side. So when Chuck came home from work that day, I said, I think you got your wish. I think I'm channeling. And I read him the note of everything that happened. I said, what do we do next? We decided to just sit and meditate together like we did a lot. And this huge voice just came barreling out of my mouth. The fun thing was the very first thing that happened was they smiled my face. My face was plastered
Huh.
into a smile, and I couldn't not smile. It was someone had literally, they had taken over my body in that sense, and I felt this joy, and I could feel like a drill bit going through my third eye. I could feel all this vibration in my teeth, in my mouth. And for many weeks after that, if I didn't hadn't known better, I would have thought I had tardive dyskinesia or something, because I always had this twitching around my mouth.
Huh.
Over time, the physiological symptoms have kind of relaxed and become more integrated into who I am as a person. It's even kind of fun to look at some of the first channels as opposed to some of the more recent ones, because my body is much more receptive to the energy that they bring. But it's an enormous amount of energy. It feels like being struck by lightning. It's so visceral and tangible, and I will go hot all over,
Hmm.
which still happens. And yeah, and I was immediately healed. I didn't realize it till a couple of hours after that first channel. I thought, wait a minute, I feel great. Wait a minute, I think I'm healed. And sure enough, I was completely, totally healed with that very first channeling
Wow.
experience.
Wow. I love that.
Mm.
So now that you've been, have a few years of this behind you, what has been their message? Like, why you, is this part of your soul contract? Were you, you've been part of that collective, and
Mhm.
it's this time on this planet, it's time for you, you raised your hand and said, I'll go and
Yeah.
take on this part and try to get this planet into this next dimension?
Yeah. Well, them coming through in that way was like me getting plugged into my higher self for the first time, really just fully plugged in. And it just feels like home. When I channel them, when I spend time with them, it is my home. It's who I really am. And then what they explained over time, channeling relationships are just like any relationship. It takes time to get to know someone, and you don't share all the intimate details, on the first date, right? You need time for
Not.
these things to unfold. But basically, I am one of these 350,000 incarnations, or individualized souls within this collective, and chose to incarnate. I've lived many, many human lifetimes in which I've forgotten this connection to them. So it's an extraordinary victory and a homecoming to finally be aware of who I really am, which is them, which is this beautiful aspect of Christ consciousness. They serve Archangel Michael. They can work in any dimension, but they're very focused on helping humanity to realize their fifth dimensional perfection, and and that is fully aligned with the kind of person, who and what I've wanted to be for many years. Even in my life in Christianity, my passion and desire was to help people to develop intimacy with the divine. It was very difficult to do within the containers of religion that I was in, but I always had that desire, that to really know God. I remember as a little girl, like 8 years old, reading the Bible and feeling like God Himself had written the words on the page for me, some of those
Hmm.
words, that actually God had me on His or her mind when He wrote
Oh,
those words on the page. So, um, my passion and Judah's passion is to create just a space that's safe and loving and allowing and accepting, where people can sift and sort through all the conditioning and experiences of this life and also past lives, in order to become really free, really, truly experientially free, and to become love or know the self as love, so that they can be their fully enlightened self. So, everything I do, my relationship with Judah first and primarily is for me to become an enlightened being in this life. That's the contract, right? If there is a contract, so to speak. And that's a misnomer that I like to teach a lot about channeling. Channeling seems to be like this really cool, and it is. It's very cool. It's pretty spectacular, to watch and experience, especially if you're
hmm.
in the room with it. You're like, whoa,
Yes, I
the
love that.
energy when you feel the energy. So it's super cool, right? But it's for relationship. It's for relationship. These are my angels. They love me and they want me to grow and they want me to be my fully self realized, fully enlightened self. That's the first reason for the relationship. And then after that, it's to serve others and help them do the same. And I can't give to anybody else what I don't own for
Right.
myself, and you can sense that, right? When you listen to different channelers, so many cool, beautiful people out there. But if my personal level of consciousness is in the fear realm, or in distress or sadness realm, then I'm going to channel from with that filter, right? But if I am doing the deep inner work to elevate my own personal level of consciousness into love and joy and peace and bliss and highly enlightened states, then I can channel from that space without those filters of those lower judgments and experiences and things. So I spend a one of the beautiful things about my channeling life and my new work with Judah is it affords me the luxury of spending a lot of time meditating, in self-care, in looking at my own ego stuff and clearing it, and learning so that I can be a purer channel, hopefully.
Right. Well, how do you, when you were saying you were 8 and looking at the Bible and learning about God, what is since you've been with Judah? in that collective. How do you view God now?
Beautiful. Well, for reference, I was born into fundamentalist Christianity. My father was a Baptist minister of the Jerry Falwell type sect. It was a lot of legalism, no dancing, no rock and roll music,
Oh, wow.
purity culture, no kissing, sex is for marriage, all of that. So that was kind of my reference. And I saw God, prior to my awakening, God was scripted for me in the Bible and through my religious community. And so I was told who and what God was. So a big step for me, and I married very young, largely due to the religious programming, of wife and mother, and you don't need this sounds probably really antiquated to some people, but you don't need a career or an education. You just need to fulfill the highest role for a woman as wife and mother and all that. So I married very young. My husband was an alcoholic. I didn't realize that until a couple of years into the marriage. So one of the first places where my definition of God began to be shaken up a little bit was in 12 step. Many years later, I was in Al-Anon,
Hmm.
and I was so offended by part of the 12 steps said, God of your understanding, or a higher power of your understanding. And I thought, what? That's ridiculous. I don't get to decide who and what God is. Who God and what God is laid out in the Bible for me and for everyone else who knows the truth. And I remember there was a woman there in our home group, my Al-Anon group, who would refer to God as she, and that would just drive me nuts. My religious programming. But because of my life circumstance and the deep pain that I was suffering, I began to be more willing to question, my definitions of God and life. And, now in my awakening, I heard very clearly from my inner being, and maybe from Judah and my angels too, to allow God to be a question mark. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so I think that's a really important step, to let God be a question mark. Because I think when we think we know it all, then we're not able to learn or have a new experience. And one of the challenges now in my work is there's so much out there, so much spiritual material. It's so beautiful and rich, and so many opportunities to grow. But there's also a lot of, it can be, if you're not careful, it can become like speed dating, or,
Hmm.
or spiritual bar hopping, where you're just imbibing all this different stuff, but are you really living it? Is it becoming a part of you? Is it your experience, right? So I try not to speak to things until I have tangibly experienced it, right?
Yes, yes.
Like for instance, there's a lot of talk about, well, we're living in a matrix. And so I just held that really loosely, right? Because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But then I began in my nighttime to actually experience being in a matrix and being able to control it and move it and shape it. And I said, oh, okay, now I've had the experience. I can speak on that. So to answer long answer for your question, who and what is God? For me at this point, my understanding of God is that God is consciousness, all that is, all that is. He's the nothing, she's the nothing, and the everything, the non-gender consciousness, universal consciousness. God is energy, and energy is everywhere. Life force energy. I'm God, you're God. We're all aspects or fractals or specific focuses of God, of the all that is, of this beautiful light, life force energy that is God. And that is my understanding. And so now when I think about Jesus, for a while, for a few years, I threw the baby out with the bathwater. you know. Um, and that was, I think, important. And later, I actually had the privilege of channeling Jesus and beginning a new relationship with Yeshua or Jesus. And one of the first things he said to me is, "Don't worship me.
Mm,
Yeah, don't worship me." And also, he shared his frustration and anger about the way he's been so misrepresented in the world.
hmm,
And so now I understand that Jesus was a man who achieved his fully enlightened state. Now, whether he achieved it before he came into the body as this little boy, Yeshua, or through a progression, in his 33 years of life, I don't really know. But he is a person, a human who became a fully enlightened being, a God being. And it's my understanding that I have that opportunity. You have that opportunity. We all have the opportunity to be Christs, to be Buddhas, to be Krishnas. And this is one of the primary messages of Judah. All of us can be enlightened beings. We are at our core, our essence, the aspect of us that is the higher self is perfect, is innocent in consciousness. And we're all evolving towards this perfected, enlightened state. And we're going to be seeing more and more people reach this enlightenment because of this really a tsunami of awakening and spiritual materials that are out there. And I have the privilege of seeing it all the time. One of the things I do a lot in the Judo channel is I help people to calibrate their level of consciousness now to get a GPS. Like, where are you, right? If you want to grow and expand and be fully self-realized, great, that's for you, but you have to kind of know where you are in order to know how to get there, right? Like with the GPS, the GPS has to read where you are before you type in the address of where you want to go.
right.
So I help people get in, develop that skill of actually identifying their personal level of consciousness and then becoming aware of what elevates that and moving towards that having more of that and less of the stuff that doesn't provide that atmosphere. But and I meet people that are in the 990s, 980s, 990s. I've met enlightened people in sessions that nobody knows about.
Hmm.
They're
Wow.
just in their homes doing
Enlightened.
dishes and yeah,
Huh.
it's
Well,
it's a beautiful time.
yes, I am feeling that. But when you talk about the levels
Mhm.
and you show that graph, the chart that shows, so 5,000 is where Judah is. Is that
Yeah.
so, and how can you tell, like, if we were going to have a session, how do you know what level I am? How does that come through?
Yeah. So for anybody who's not aware of what I'm talking about, there was a very enlightened man. He was an enlightened man, a being by the time he passed away. His name was Dr. David Hawkins. And he developed a scale that measured consciousness, and he spent the last decades of his life um, creating a science of how you can calibrate consciousness. And so if you think of the scale from 0 to 1,000, 0 is homicidal, rage, suicidal, the lowest of the low that you can be in the level of consciousness. And 1,000 is the realm of the Christ, the Buddha, Krishna, and other enlightened beings, Sri Ramana, and so on. And so once you get past 1,000, the physical body can't contain the energy and the vibration of consciousness at that point. And most people, once they get past about 600 or so, they will tend to leave the body and move on.
Hmm.
Yeah. But that 1,000 range, you just can't physically maintain anymore as a human because of the levels of the energy. So the angels, the Judah angels, they are a 5,000. So they're way off that chart, which really explains in a very simple way why so many people are attracted to listen to them, because you feel the lift
Hmm.
immediately, right? You feel the difference. Archangels usually are in the 150,000 range.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
Yeah. And so you can, what we teach in the judo channel, we teach you how to use kinesiology and use your body basically as a pendulum.
Hmm.
Some of your folks might know what a pendulum is. We teach you how to use your body as a pendulum to locate the level of consciousness of yourself, of people you work with, your children, your partners, books you read, videos you watch, television programs you watch, so that you can become a really smart consumer of consciousness. So you can choose. We're all in energetic entanglements all the time.
Right.
Some of them are beautiful, some of them are painful, some of them are just a waste, really. They're just a waste of our attention and energy and our time. And so you can begin to come with no judgment whatsoever, just evaluating, not to rank things as, you know, so and so's better than me, not to create another religious hierarchy or anything like that, but just to be aware, right?
Right.
Like one of the things that I do very commonly is as I ask Judah, or ask my higher self, Judah, is this will this book elevate my level of consciousness? Is this book for my highest and best at this time? Right? And just simple things like that, when you can get an immediate answer in your body through muscle testing, this can be life changing. It can be life changing. I mean, imagine applying that to dating or voting or courses at school.
Right.
I just hold the name of the course in mind.
Hmm.
Will this course elevate my level of consciousness? No. Okay, so it's an easy pass.
Right. I love that. I
Yeah.
do that. And I do have my pendulum, but I do it more like, either like leaning forward, your body
Mhm.
is telling you yes.
Yes.
And it become, it's like a muscle. I feel like the more
Yeah.
that you use that, it's just like those answers are like so quick,
Yes.
right?
Yes. So beautiful.
Okay, I want to ask you because when I was just listening to you on Next Level Soul, you channeled Baba G,
Mhm.
Yogananda, Archangel Michael, and then you say Jesus.
Mhm.
How do you decipher? I know you know the Judah energy because you can feel that, and I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah.
How do you like? It was like so surprising to you when you were like, I don't even study that Baba G, and all of a sudden he came through.
Yeah, so it's really cool that you asked that. So the reason why I was able to channel Babaji, and I can through intention, let me say this first. Through intention, it's been my experience, my lived experience, that I can channel any soul in any realm of time and space at any time through intention. And I believe everybody can do that. And it's a kind of a skill you can develop. And I can usually give people a few pointers and they can run with it. But specifically speaking to the interview with Alex, where I was channeling Babaji and Yogananda, those are Alex's gurus, his mentors, his
Right.
guides. And so, me being there, even though I had never channeled those beings before, and I hadn't studied their materials or read their books or really had any energetic entanglement with them up till that point, till that moment in time, because of Alex and my ability to enter his field, as I enter his personal field, I could tap into Yogananda and
Hmm.
Mahavatar Babaji and so on. So, to explain briefly, we all have a personal field in the fifth dimension. And in that field is every thought, feeling, impression, experience that we've ever had in any lifetime, past, present, parallel, future. It's all within the field. And so, because I was entangled in that interview with Alex's field, and in his field is all of his beloved masters and teachers, I was able to, his field is entangled with their fields.
Oh,
So I was able to just slip right in there. So I'll give you another, like, more practical example. I began studying Lao Tzu for a while. I had never read the Tao Te Ching or any anything about this enlightened master, but I really just, and this is something that your viewers can do. You can take a book from an enlightened person and you can set the intention to merge with their field, and you can do that. It's different than just reading. It's
Hmm.
entering their essence and who they are. And so I had been reading Lao Tzu for a few weeks. And one night, Chuck and I were sitting together getting ready to do a live stream. And he said, "Wow, I just saw the face of this Chinese man right in my face." And I said, "Huh, I wonder if that might be Lao Tzu." So I had to click the go button and do the thing. And as we got into the night, I I began to channel. I said, "Oh, Lao Tzu is here," and I was able to channel Lao Tzu. So here's the life hack, right? We're all channeling stuff all the time.
Right.
We're wearing the makeup we're wearing because we saw an advertisement on our Instagram feed, or
Right.
we're constantly being entangled with different things, and then we're expressing that entanglement through our words and our actions, our thoughts and our feelings. So we can get intentional, right, about merging in with these fields that we want to be a part of. And you can do it really simply. Like I teach people to channel Judah all the time. You just drop into a meditative state. You can do it really quickly, especially if you're a meditator. You just kind of relax your mind, kind of as if you're daydreaming, or you just put your hand on your heart and say, "Higher self or inner being, would you please locate the consciousness of Judah?" And immediately you will feel their presence come.
Mm.
You'll feel a difference, a shift. It's like ooh, the air's a little
A little
different.
lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's simple. You don't have to have a big booming direct voice channel like mine. Just know that once you've merged, you've set that intention. Your thoughts are their thoughts. Their thoughts are your thoughts. Your thoughts are higher because you've merged your consciousness with them, and you'll sense that your thoughts are lighter, brighter, more wiser, smarter. And
Huh.
and you are then in a channeling state. So a channeling state is just emerging. It's kind of like sexual intimacy, right? When you're intimate with your partner, there comes this point where you're just one. You're just one, and there's no separation. Yeah, and the intimacy is so sweet, and it's very much like that. You just merge in for a while, and then when you're done, you just release that energy.
Right. And it invigorates you when I'm listening to you.
Oh, yeah, yes, absolutely. You can heal your body, you can heal trauma. I was diagnosed with complex PTSD years ago. You can heal yourself.
Hmm. Oh, I just see the world going there, right? I'd love
Yeah,
for you to channel. Um, can we channel? Can
absolutely.
we or can you?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I kind of wanted you to say, like, I know you'd come through with a message, but I do have some questions. But, it's like, I just, there's something about Judah, like when you just did that to me and you said to connect and I closed my eyes. It's a light. I feel this light. And it's so, when you understand intention, just wanted to share that before we go, but that intention and it's a knowing and a trust and a surrender to me,
Yeah.
all in one.
Oh, yes. And the more you can surrender in that state and not be afraid, the more blessed you can be, and the higher your level of conscious my level of consciousness will sometimes go up 2, 3, 400 points on that scale when I channel. Sometimes it'll even go off the scale up in the 1200 range. So if it's important to you to be your truest best self, connecting with your higher self and beginning a channeling relationship with your angels and guides can dramatically change your life in that way. And yeah, yeah.
When you say, how do you know you get to those levels of consciousness?
I calibrate it with muscle testing
Okay.
while I'm in that state. Mhm.
Wow.
I can even ask, I'll just say, Judah, can I know my level of consciousness right now? Yes. Is it above 600? Yes, above 700. Let's even ask right now our collective conversation. Judah, can you give us a calibration of the level of consciousness of this conversation in this moment? Yes. Above 500? Yes. Above 600? Yes. Above 650? Yes. Above 700? 750? 800? 850? Nope. So it's somewhere over 800, which is
Huh.
extraordinary. That's in a state of bliss and enlightenment.
And that's how I feel when I'm with you. It's
Thank you,
so
sister. I
amazing.
feel it too. It's beautiful to be
Yeah.
joined with you in
And
it.
when you were doing that, I go, no, it's higher. I could tell. Like there's no way she's stopping. There's no way they're saying no. I know it's higher.
Yeah, and it can go higher and higher. Like even as I begin channeling them, it might even go higher still. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but I
so
get
it,
tears in my eyes. Isn't that? It's
oh
like a,
yeah.
it's just so like it engulfs my whole my being, and I feel that love, and it's like, I do so much automatic writing, and that's kind of my channeling. And then I do this podcast, and I don't know what I'm going to ask, and then I listen when it comes out on Tuesday, and I didn't know I asked any of those questions, so I know that's part of my channel, right? Like I'm channeling those
Mhm.
questions, but
Absolutely.
it's just so when you feel that love, and
Hmm.
I've kind of like where you want to explode,
Yeah.
and I know that's what it's just a fraction of what it is with the
Hmm.
with Judah, like
Yeah.
they're in this the complete beyond state of love. But when
Yeah.
as a human being living in that place where you almost could have tears all the time, you want to explode, and like I would love to hug you, like that feeling where I just go, oh my gosh, I just love her, like she's my
Mhm.
soul sister. Like I just have this like
Yeah.
this like full feeling of um,
Yes.
I yeah
And that's your level of consciousness, sweetheart. It's your level of consciousness is this unconditional love. And once you get there and that's your floor and you never go below that anymore, that's the set point on the thermostat
yeah.
of your life.
Mm.
The set point on the thermostat of your life is unconditional love. And you never go and then the weather can change. People can do crazy stuff to you, mean stuff, whatever, and you'll just keep loving, keep loving, keep loving, keep loving. And I encourage people, especially people that want to play in the metaphysical realm, right? Channel being like Judah first. Be safe, right? Listen, listen, listen to these channels and find a being like Judah that earns your credibility and your trust, that is unconditionally loving, and be with them first. Be in a safe, loving space to learn how to channel. That's why most of the time when I help people begin channeling for the first time, we start with Judah and then we work with channeling their own higher self and so on.
Have you ever met anybody that is part of Judah that you've met?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
You have?
absolutely. Yeah, I have met 3 or 4 people now that are definitely a part of the collective. Yes, absolutely.
And on the same mission for you, like just the expand the universe moving
Very
toward the next.
similar.
Huh.
And they know it immediately because they are just captivated in the presence of Judah. They just instinctively know I've been looking for this my whole life. You feel it. It's a visceral feeling of having come home. And then Judah has also said, gardeners know how to graft in a branch of another tree or another species in order to create a whole new type of
Oh,
plant,
right.
right?
Like a
Yeah.
hybrid.
Yeah. Judah has also said anybody that wants to be grafted into the Judah collective can become their higher self, their soul family if they so choose.
Huh. And it's a calling, right? Like it would be where someone just feels called to that.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, it's so beautiful. And I work with people, connecting with any beings that they want to connect with. But there's a lot, once you open the door to this kind of stuff, if you still have a lot of fear or trauma or sadness in your life, you'll tend to attract beings in that area. So that's why I really encourage people to be super grounded and make sure you are doing your own interior work on your own life with meditation, contemplation, sifting and sorting through your ego conditioning, which is why we do a lot of teaching on the Judah channel too, not just channeling, because I want people to be super safe and I want them to have beautiful experiences that they deserve.
Right. And I know you talk a lot about love. There's two choices, love or fear. That's
Yeah,
basically it, right? Like,
that's it.
and
Those
I
are the
just,
choices.
yeah. And the way I parent my girls, and I'm sure you, but it's
Mhm.
like, honey, you're either coming from love or fear. You
Yeah,
make it the choice. So I really resonated with that because I really live my life like that. And I
mm,
know
beautiful.
like if something like when you say I have a set point, and I always tell like when you're going to school to the girls their whole life, like be the thermostat, set the temperature. You be the one that comes in
Exactly.
at 100 degrees, and they're all
Exactly.
going to want to come to you. You don't come in at 60, right? You come at 100. So that resonates with me and how I live my life and how I intentionally like from the minute I wake up in the morning, I'm at 100. Like that's just a conscious I just know how important that is. And it doesn't feel right if it's at 99.9. Like,
Exactly, exactly. And we have a free chart that you can pick up on our website that helps you find where you are, like what your emotional set point is. When I was before I met judo, while I was still in my religious paradigms and going through my struggles, a lot of depression from 16 on, from a lot of religious trauma and the alcoholism, the alcoholic partner that I had. And so my emotional set point was sadness, right? I could have a beautiful baby, brand new baby, and just be so in love and migrate back down to sadness.
uh,
I could get my master's degree, be so happy, migrate back to sadness. I could get to sing in front of thousands of people and just step, into my divinity in doing that, and then migrate back to sadness. So this is everything we're doing in the Judo channel is to help you raise that set point into that unconditional love realm, because that unconditional love realm is the first rung on the ladder of enlightenment. And once you're there, the level of power that you bring to the world, just being in the spaces, being in the carpool line, being at the grocery
mhm,
store, where whatever it is that you're doing, everything is different. There's
right,
just a power that you exude. People feel it, right? They just start weeping around you and telling you their difficulties and their pain, and they don't even know why they're doing it. They're doing it because maybe finally, for the very first time ever, they're in the presence of true unconditional love. And
right.
their inner being knows that, right? Every problem in the world can be solved with love. Every problem in the world can be solved. We don't have to fight anything or resist anything. We just have to be the love that we are.
Right.
And we need people to help us show us how to get there. Yeah, and that's everything we're doing is to help you take your time, energy, and attention away from everything that's not love and that's not serving your soul, and bringing it back into your inner being.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I love when you talk about like the grocery store. That's like, it's not a game to me, but it's kind of fun. I do it for the girls, like,
Mhm.
their whole life. I'm like, look what happens when you come in at 100 and you're this person, you get at the parking spot, you get,
Yes.
everyone's saying, smiling at you.
Yes.
They just feel your energy. That's
Mhm.
how life can be if you choose that, like choose
Exactly.
love or the other one. Like, why would you choose the other one? But many people do.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, let's channel.
All right. All right. Go ahead, my dear. Ask away. Well, let's see if Judah wants to start with a little
Okay, yeah.
whatever monologue verse. Mhm. Hello, dear and precious ones. We are delighted in this conversation and very active in our presence all around. And we love drawing you into our inner circle. Welcome, dear Ashley, into the inner circle of the Judah family. We love you, my dear. We are so appreciative of the being that you are, and the light and the love that you exude everywhere, all around. And know this, my dear, you are creating an attractor field, and there will be many, many, many coming to this safe and beautiful, loving space that you are creating. Yes, we love that you are creating this space, this consciousness, this group, this family. Yes, welcome, my dear. How may we serve you?
Why do your energy, Judah, is it so attractive to me? Why do I feel it so much?
Because you have lived in this energy for many lifetimes, my dear. One, two, three, four, 5 lifetimes you have lived in this energy of the Christ consciousness. This is your homecoming. You are like a Dorothy, my dear. Now, yes, and you are in your hot air balloon, clicking your red heels and coming home. Today is the day for you. You are Dorothy in your hot air balloon, clicking your heels. There's no place like home. You feel the energy of home when you are with us. We are your home. We love you. Welcome home, my dear.
Ah, and why do I pick this time of this and on this planet, on this timeline to come to the earth?
Mm, mm. There are several, 1, 2, 3, 4 key areas that your soul set forth to master in this lifetime. And these 4 areas of mastery will be consistent themes in your life work going forward. These are 4 particular areas in which you have conquered as a soul. You have mastered struggle, disturbance, upset, karma in these 4 areas. You already know what they are. When you get off this call, you will be able to pick up your pen and write them down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these will be the areas that you have keys to the kingdom. 1, 2, 3, 4, very important keys that people need to be their highest and best self, to be free from what the pain and trouble that ails them. You set forth to come back to master these areas, and you have done it. And now you are moving forward to unlock mastery and freedom in these areas for those you encounter.
As a soul, as my personality of Ashley, in other timelines, could you explain other timelines happening all at once and how that works?
Mm. All things are happening in the now. And as you engage us in the conversation, in the energy that we are bringing here, as you soak yourself in this Christ consciousness of such a high state, you are literally changing the trajectory of your future, your parallel and past lives. Everything is shifting, shifting, shifting in the now. You're rewriting your past. You're rewriting the potential of your future. You are erasing karma, erasing, erase, 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 erase. We are giving you today, dear, the gift of a very big eraser, a hilariously big eraser, like one would give for a gag gift. This is one of the 4 keys that you have that you are going to refine and use. You're going to erase karma for yourself and for others. You're going to be able to teach them how to erase karma, erase trouble, pain, things that follow them, erase painful memories from their personal field in the 5th dimension, so that these things are not informing who and what they can become.
Oh, wow, that hits me. Yes.
Mhm.
Uh, um, almost to where that was a mic drop moment, Judah.
Mhm.
I, I'm interested in my soul and my growth and the consciousness level of my soul. And I feel that we were just ranking it how we were getting about an 850 here together. In my life's journey, can you, as this planet keeps shifting and the DNA is upgrading, will we be able to live on this planet higher than 1,000 or even closer to living in this body at a higher frequency now that the planet is shifting its energy?
Yes, yes, yes. And there are some now who are testing these boundaries. They have volunteered for this mission. This vessel is one of them, as you say, a guinea pig, we will say, of consciousness. And so there are these, yes, and they will radically redefine what it means to be a human being, rather than being Homo erectus, now Homo spiritus, Homo illuminus, yes, and they will be more and more filled with light, more and more translucent. They will eat less and less and less. hmm They will eat lighter, 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 lighter. Only this vessel eats only very life-giving, life-infused, fresh, 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 life-infused things. There are transitions these will make into this new human. They will be personally instructed by angels and the higher self as to how to make these transitions, and they will do it successfully. And there is also technologies that will support this transition. 1200, there are those who will be able to live at a level of consciousness, a new set point, as you were speaking of earlier, of 1200. But this will require a very specific care for the body in order to facilitate this level of consciousness in the body.
Yes.
Mhm.
Does the vessel of Angie eat meat? And what are your thoughts on eating animal protein?
Well, we don't judge anything that anyone chooses to do. For this vessel, we have given her very strict instructions, which she follows to her delight. She does not eat anything dead, nothing dead. And she does not eat packaged dead things. She only eats life infused fruits, vegetables, plants grown primarily in the light of the sun, as fresh as possible. Plants, 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 plants. Powerful plants infused with white light, life force, energy from the sun. Nuts and seeds grown above ground, not beneath the ground. Hmm.
And my last question, as we emerge into these new humans with this higher frequency in the 1200 level, will we be speaking telepathy? Can we will it be just natural to that human? All this special like channeling and
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Everyone is able to channel. Everyone has telepathic capabilities. Everyone has the built-in software to be completely connected to their higher self and to, as this vessel spoke of earlier, any soul that you wish to be connected to. Your soul is a soul phone, a cell phone, a soul phone. Just as you can use your cell phone to connect to anyone on the planet, you can use your soul phone to connect with any entity in or out of the body, on the planet or off planet, including plants and animals. This vessel is able to communicate to the soul of any animal, plant, human, and also those off world as well, those disembodied souls and higher dimensional souls. And this will require enormous maturity and restraint to focus your time, energy, and attention on communicating and entangling yourself, merging yourself with the souls that offer the highest possible vibration and possibilities for yourself and for humanity. Don't waste your time in the astral circus, we would say.
yes. Any last words?
We love you. We are here to support you and your beautiful friends and audience members in any way possible. It is as simple as calling our name, Judah, and we are there. We love you. We receive you exactly where you are, and we hold simultaneously in mind as we hold you in mind where you are, be it in extraordinary pain and despair or as high flying as you can possibly be. We can also hold in mind where you are and all that you are to become. And we can provide for you the energetic support to move fully, sustainably, and consistently in the highest and best form of who you are that is safe for you at this time.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I
Oh,
love that.
wow. When I open my eyes, I just see white light everywhere, and I see white light all around you too, my dear.
Oh,
It's beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't expecting to feel this. I mean, I felt it when I listened to you, but being in your presence and listening to Judah, it's such
Yes.
a like a high
Yeah.
it brings me up like that. I can't
Yeah.
explain it, but it's like, wow.
Broad-stoned. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
love it. Oh,
Yeah.
Angie, thank you so much. Can you share things that you're doing now? And after
Oh,
all that, it's so hard to go back to
to
like
talk.
reality, like, oh shoot, we have to really end this like this.
Oh, I know. Oh, we have so many things to offer. So, one of the primary things we have that's free is our Judah Telegram group. It's called the Judah Family International. And there's just a lot of loving, high vibe people that are in this awakening and enlightenment process from all around the world. You can make some friends. You can throw out your questions or your struggles and get support there. Our website is thejudahchannel.com. We have some free resources there. One of the most powerful things we offer really inexpensively is our Judah Treats program, which trains your superconscious how to clear your personal field, how to clear pain, trauma, karma, permanently clear those things from your field, get rid of any ancestral entities or anything happening there. Just get all of that stuff gone. So, and help you create the life that you're looking for. We have a beautiful course called True You Accelerator, and it calibrates in the 850 range of consciousness, and it's designed to it's the whole kitchen sink. It's everything I learned, everything I know. If it helped me in any way, it is in that course. It's a lifetime access. It's 10 weeks of self-study, or if you want to get in the room with us, beginning September 1st, we're going to do a version of the course where you get free session. You get 2 sessions included with me, 45-minute sessions, and we meet together every week and we practice channeling. We work through anything that's coming up for you, and it's just the container of the course itself is just so high and so transformative. It's just really, really life changing. Most people gain 1 or 2 levels in their level of consciousness, or even more in the course.
Oh, I believe that 100%. I totally believe that. Just being in your presence is that. That's how.
And we do have in Charlotte once a month, we have events. You can come get a hug from me, and it's very hands-on. We give you a major hands-on energetic darshan, or just jolt from Judah, and we have a ball. It's our local spiritual community, but we do have people come from all over the world for it. We have people drive 12 hours. We have people come from Europe, Los
Oh,
Angeles, all over to our little meeting
oh,
in
I love
Charlotte,
that.
North Carolina. Yeah.
Oh, think of that. Think of all those people. Think of that, like that choice you made that day, even just sitting there listening to Chuck say you can do that. That was your choice and you made that and look what you're doing in this world. It's amazing.
It's an honor and a privilege, always.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So fun. I loved it.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you so much.